Hey there, Agile Adventurer. Just a quick question. What if, for the price of a fancy coffee or half a pizza, you could unlock over 700 hours of the best Agile content on the planet? That's audio, video, e-courses, books, presentations, all that you can think of. But you can also join live calls with world-class practitioners and hang out in a flame war-free and AI slop-clean Slack with the sharpest minds in the game. Oh, and yes, you get direct access to me, Vasco, your Scrum Master Toolbox podcast. No, this is not a drill. It's the Scrum Master Toolbox membership. And it's your unfair advantage in the Agile world. So if you want to know more, go check out scrummastertoolbox.org/membership. That's scrummastertoolbox.org/membership. And check out all the goodies we have for you. Do it now. But if you're not doing it now, let's listen to the podcast. Hello, everybody. Welcome to our Success Thursday. This week we have with us Scott Smith. Hey, Scott. Welcome back.
Hey, Vasco. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So Thursday is Success Day, and we will talk about success in a minute. But first, share with us, Scott, what's your favorite retrospective format and why?
Yeah, so over the years, there've been many different approaches to retros, but what I really enjoy for the last few has been using MIRO. So I set up a bunch of MIRO boards. Well, actually, it's one MIRO board that I've set up for one team. And I'll generally use the Miroverse, where I can get many templates of retrospectives. And I take copies of those onto a single MIRO board for a team retrospectives. And we work our way through those various templates sprint by sprint. I find that the templates are often fun, engaging, often themed as well. So you have your Christmas ones, your Halloween ones, your Easter ones, and it keeps everything on the one board as well. So you can easily see your last retrospective's actions, follow up on those prior to starting your next retrospective. And the team really enjoy, I suppose, the variation of boards each sprint or each retrospective. So it keeps things a bit interesting for them and fun.
Absolutely. I like the idea of having multiple retrospectives in one single digital board, because you can zoom in and work on the current one, but you can quickly zoom out and check the other ones. It allows people to kind of browse through, how have I talked about the different aspects over the previous? And it creates what I think is very important for the growth of a team. It creates this concept of having a history as a team, right? Because if you look at it, most history artifacts for a team are either version control commits or issue tracking items. None of those we will want to look back on very fondly and remember, right? They're all things we want to get out of our way, put it in the past, done, checked, and never look at it. But looking at retrospectives can become that, especially if you bring into the retrospective some history, some identity building exercises that then get collated through the multiple retrospectives over time. So I really like that idea. And we used to do that very early on. Like, this was my first Scrum team, where we had all of our retrospective flip charts, because it was, of course, many years ago. So we were all on flip charts. And we had the flip charts all over the room. It was a big room, and the flip charts kind of told the story of some of the key moments of the team over time. And that really helped to create identity. And it also helped introduce new team members, because we could just go to the board and point to it and kind of discuss what had been going on. Have you used your own retrospective MIRO boards as kind of a, let's call it, a team museum as well?
Yeah, you're absolutely spot on. We do. We use them as a point of celebration. I think a couple of years back, it wasn't myself that created it, but a previous Scrum Master who was working on a team before I took over had taken all of the boards and created a little end of year video. Put together a bit of a video using snapshots of the board, and they walked through the year essentially, providing little celebratory moments where we could come together and watch this video and see what we had done, all the good work that they had done throughout the year. So yeah, it's great work, a great way to do it. And another actually way of telling that story as well, which we use, is collecting our sprint goals in a single place, and having a walkthrough of those sprint goals at a certain point in time. It might be the end of the year, end of the financial year. Gives a great history, and also, like you said, new people joining the team. It's fantastic for them to be able to see a snapshot of things like sprint goals or retrospectives. And sprint reviews is another one that we do it with. So we have a single PowerPoint pack which gets built upon each sprint, and it tells the story from a sprint review perspective, which also, of course, includes stakeholders, and people who join the organisation or the team can go in and listen to those, and hear back what's happened sprint by sprint.
Absolutely. So, Scott, thank you for sharing that. That was a great intro to a different aspect of the retrospective, right? Like the logistics of how we collect information over time. But of course, we do this retros because we want to help the team succeed, and ourselves, we want to succeed as Scrum Masters. So share with us, Scott, when you think about yourself as a Scrum Master, how do you define success?
For me, I always come back to the people and the human aspects of it. So as a Scrum Master, you're there in that servant leadership role. And if the team is thriving, so not just growing, but if the team is really thriving, then I feel that is a huge indication of success. And when I talk to the team, I mean that includes the product owner as well as the devs. So you're not only helping those on the ground, but doing the technical work, but also that product owner is important in that journey too.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you think about this idea, is the team thriving? So, okay, that's a great question to start with and to start reflecting on. But how do you, Scott, how do you define that? Like, how do you explore that question? What things do you look at? Do you keep any metrics? Do you journal regularly? How do you keep tabs on the answer to the question, is the team thriving?
Yeah, sure. So we keep we do a light touch on a regular basis as opposed to having sort of checkpoints every quarter or something like that. Although we do have those checkpoints because we do quarterly planning. But on a sprint by sprint basis, we will do things like mid-sprint vibe checks. So we're in daily Scrum, and we'll have a quick vibe check on how we're going on the sprint. So that doesn't necessarily tell you how the team's feeling or the team's health, but it tells you more about the health of the sprint, perhaps. But we also then have quarterly planning where we do a retrospective. That's a point in time where we can check back and celebrate on the last quarter, see where we need to improve for next upcoming quarter, and get a check-in with the team in terms of how they're feeling, what their challenges are, what they're excited about, etc. And during that quarter, we do a mid-quarter vibe check. So that's more of an anonymous survey where we will get a bit of a pulse check on the health of the team. So really just half a dozen questions to get a feel for how the team's tracking in terms of each individual. And it really gives us some pointers as to is there anything that we need to change? Is there anywhere we need to pivot? So we have the quarterly check-in, the pulse, and then we have our regular management who do their showcases each month. I suppose that's more of a show and tell. But you also hear a lot from the team during those showcases, which gives you a bit of an indication as to what's the excitement and the buzz around the department.
So when you think about this, you call them vibe checks. So I guess these are kind of light, more kind of a question, maybe, the fist of five type of checks. And when you think about that, the vibe checks that you do mid-sprint and then the quarterly, like what kind of infrastructure have you put in place? Like, for example, when you do the sprint vibe check, do you then somehow track that somewhere, or like how do you do it?
So for the sprint vibe check, we really take action there and then. If someone raises an issue that we're not tracking towards the sprint goal or part of the sprint goal, then we'll talk about it during that daily scrum there and then to understand what is it that we need to do next to ensure that we stay on track. When we talk those sort of mid-quarter vibe checks where it's more of an anonymous survey, I'll collect the feedback. I will start to pull together some remove any duplicates, create any themes that are starting to show any patterns. I'll share that back to the department, and then I'll co-create, working with them, the actions that we're going to take, and generally, I'll perhaps be driving those, but working with certain members of the team to be able to achieve any of the actions that come out of those vibe checks. Similarly, at the quarterly planning, those actions are taken, themes, any patterns looked for, and again, continually track those. And it's all about, that continuous communication at certain points to let people know how we're tracking towards the actions that we've taken from the vibe check or the quarterly planning.
And I really like the idea of tracking actions that we collect no matter when, of course, but then at those specific points when we actually do this, either mid-sprint vibe check or then quarterly planning. And the reason for that is not because we want to track everything that is decided. That's not the goal. But rather that if you keep that over time, you can see what kind of actions are relevant over time, and you can observe the development of the team, right? Like a team that is thriving will have certain needs. Like, for example, a team that is thriving might need more support from management to continue to grow. A team that is not thriving will have internal problems, will have basic things that are not in place, like, for example, lack of communication, dependencies that are not handled, surprises mid-sprint, like all of those things, right? A team that is thriving is looking forward, is trying to get better, and we can see that in the actions, while a team that is not thriving will be worried about day-to-day things, and that will also be visible in the actions. And with today's LLMs, I guess we could even probably create a score based on the actions tracked over time and kind of track that score over time.
Yeah, great point. And LLMs is a big piece of what we in our department being AI, an AI domain. I do a lot of work with, so creating LLMs for various use cases across business. So that's another use case that we can take on.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that with us, Scott.
Thank you.
All right, I hope you liked this episode. But before you hit next episode, here's the deal. This podcast is powered by people like you, the members who wanted more than just inspiration. They wanted real tools and real connection to people who are practicing Agile every day. We're talking access to over 700 hours of Agile Gold, CTO level strategy talks, summit keynotes, live workshops, e-courses, deep dive interviews, books, And if you're into no estimates, we got the pioneers of no estimates in those deep dive interviews as well. Agile business intelligence, creating product visions, coaching your product owner courses, you name it. You'll get invites to monthly live Q&As with Agile pioneers and practitioners, plus a private Slack community, which is free of all of that AI slop you see everywhere, and of course, without the flame wars. It's a community of practitioners that want to learn and thrive together. It's the best place to connect with community and learn together. So if this podcast has helped you before, imagine what you will get from this podcast membership. So head on over to scrummastertoolbox.org/membership and join the community that's shaping the future of Agile. And we have so much for you. So check out all the details at scrummastertoolbox.org/membership, because listening is great, it's important, but doing it together, that's next level. I'll see you in the community Slack. We really hope you liked our show. And if you did, why not rate this podcast on Stitcher or iTunes? Share this podcast and let other Scrum Masters know about this valuable resource for their work. Remember that sharing is caring.